Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dan Parr, 2024 NFL Mock Draft 1.0, 3 trades, Bengals land pass catcher for Joe Burrow. We're still about a month away from the 2024 NFL Draft Outlook coming into clearer view, with the NFL scouting combine kicking into high gear a couple weeks from now and the start of free agency following shortly thereafter. Many questions will be answered between now and then. With that, I submit my first foray into the mockverse, where I tried to untangle the 32-pick web by filling team needs as they stand in mid-February. A lot can change between mid-February and the start of the draft, but right now, anything other than Williams to the Bears at number 1 would be a surprise to me. The Commanders explore moving up to reunite Caleb Williams with OC Cliff Kingsbury, but the asking price is too rich for a team with plenty of other needs. May gives Washington a foundation to build on. In this scenario, the Patriots trade for Justin Fields and start a new era by giving him arguably the best player in the draft. Atlanta pounces before another team moves up for the Heisman Trophy winner's services. Daniels brings dual-threat electricity to the Falcons' offense under new head coach Raheem Morris. Jim Harbaugh has made it abundantly clear he wants a tough, physical team that can protect Justin Herbert. There might be bigger needs on paper come draft day, but selecting Alt to play right tackle seems like the pick most in line with the head coach's philosophy. If the Giants are going to run it back with Daniel Jones, they might as well give him a true number 1 wide receiver for the first time in his career. Neighbors has the talent to provide the G-Man with an element they have missed since Odell Beckham Jr.'s heyday. The Titans have to give Will Levis better protection if they want him to make progress in year 2. Fashanu, Levis' teammate for a year at Penn State, should be part of the solution. GM Monty Ossenfort now owns multiple picks in each of the first 3 rounds after trading down to number 8. He holds the keys to the draft and still manages to find Kyler Murray a receiver who has drawn comparisons to Cardinals legend Larry Fitzgerald. The Bears have to find someone who can pressure quarterbacks other than Montez Sweat. They can make a case that they left round 1 with the top quarterback and top edge rusher available this year. You really think Michigan man and soon-to-be Raiders minority owner Tom Brady is going to let McCarthy fall to the Vikings at number 11 or the rival Broncos at number 12? Not happening. Vegas goes all in on the national title winner. With free agency potentially leaving the Vikings thin off the edge, versus relentless effort will be welcomed by DC Brian Flores. I know, it never happens. The Bengals haven't traded up in round 1 since 1995, when they took Keyjana Carter first overall. Well, it's time to put that streak to an end. The value of a top 5 talent at number 12 is too great for Cincinnati to resist, and the team doesn't have a tight end under contract for 2024 as of this writing. Denver needs more draft picks, and the Bengals need Bowers. Patrick Peterson hints that his time with the Steelers may be over. The Pittsburgh Steelers haven't wasted time making roster cuts. The team released quarterback Mitch Trubisky, offensive tackle Chukwuma Okorafor, and punter Presley Harvin on Monday. More cuts will certainly be coming, one of which may be cornerback Patrick Peterson. Speaking on his podcast All Things Covered with his cousin, and former Steeler Bryant McFadden, Peterson says he wants to keep playing, but it's up to the Steelers if they want to keep him around. You know I want to keep playing, Peterson said. The question is if the Steelers want me to finish my career with them. The Steelers signed Peterson to a 2-year deal in 2023 after letting Cam Sutton leave in free agency. He has a $3 million roster bonus due to him in March. Cutting him before then would negate that and save the Steelers money to put towards other potential moves. The Steelers need to add another starting caliber cornerback to play opposite of Joey Porter Jr. Neither Peterson nor Levi Wallace showed enough to be that full-time starter. If Peterson were to stick around, it would be as a slot/safety rotational piece, similar to the role he took on at the end of 2023 after a medley of injuries. Steelers insider pumps brakes on Mason Rudolph definitely leaving Pittsburgh. Insiders from NFL Network made it appear as though Mason Rudolph leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers was a foregone conclusion. But that may not 100% be the case. ESPN's Brooke Pryor made it clear that Rudolph signing with a new team is probably the more likely scenario. However, she shared while appearing on the February 14 episode of 2 on OSU podcast that she doesn't think the quarterback has made his 2024 free agency decision yet. "At this point, I think it's kind of up in the air," Pryor told hosts Sam and Ben Hutchins. "I'm so intrigued to see what the Steelers do because I think that they would like to bring Mason Rudolph back, but I don't know how Mason fits in Arthur Smith's new system. I'm interested to see if Mason wants an opportunity to prove himself somewhere else because of kind of the roller coaster that he has been on throughout his career in Pittsburgh when there was essentially an open quarterback competition between Pickett and Trubisky and Rudolph was supposedly supposed to be in the mix. But as we know, it was kind of, I hate to say a sham competition but it was pretty much known the whole time that it was going to be Trubisky, Pickett and then Rudolph. Rudolph appeared to become an afterthought after the Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky and drafted Kenny Pickett 2 years ago. But with Pickett injured and Trubisky struggling, the Steelers inserted Rudolph into the starting lineup in Week 16. The fifth-year quarterback ran with the opportunity, leading the Steelers to 3 straight victories and an improbable playoff appearance. With a little less than a month until free agency, there are mixed rumblings on whether Rudolph will be back in Pittsburgh for 2024. Local reporters such as the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jerry Dulac have continued to stress that the Steelers want Rudolph to return. Meanwhile, national reporters such as NFL Network's Ian Rappaport have reported Rudolph has indicated he'd like a fresh start elsewhere. Pryor, a Steelers insider for a national outlet, seemed to split the difference herself. While she emphasized that the Steelers want Rudolph back, she suggested the feeling might not be mutual. "It wouldn't surprise me if it's a situation where the Steelers want Mason, and Mason doesn't want the Steelers because he'd like to, I think, get kind of a bearing on what else is out there and prove that he can be an NFL quarterback without maybe some of the politics of Pittsburgh of trying to jumpstart their first-round quarterback," said Pryor. "It's not really a secret why the Steelers want Rudolph to return. They need a quarterback to push Pickett in competition." The team released Trubisky on February 12. In 3 games as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback during 2023, Rudolph completed 74.6% and averaged 10.1 yards per pass. He also had 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Rudolph appears to be the perfect mix. He is old enough to be a mentor for Pickett but young and talented enough to still be a threat as well. But while Pryor implied Rudolph has yet to make his decision, she's not wagering on him returning. "At this point, if I'm betting on the Steelers or the field for where Mason Rudolph ends up, I think it's going to end up being the field," said Pryor. Although Pryor concluded that Rudolph would likely land elsewhere this offseason, she predicted the veteran signal caller to land a contract similar to the one Dulac projected the Steelers are interested in offering Rudolph. Pryor argued that Rudolph will be worth between $10 to $18 million on a 2-year contract this offseason. Pryor also predicted the contract to contain little guaranteed money but a lot of incentives. "Yes, he did prove he is a better quarterback than he was in 2019, Pryor said. "But, the sample size still felt so small that you don't want to commit a ton of resources and cap to Mason Rudolph when you're not entirely sure what you're getting there. If he receives a similar contract offer elsewhere, it does make sense for Rudolph to seek a fresh start. The question, though, is whether another team believes strongly enough in the quarterback's small 2023 sample to top Pittsburgh's potential offer. And you fan, what do you think of the Mason Rudolph situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.